I will go back to the statement, but I just wanted us to just finish one of the issues I wanted to deal with on your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Malachi, earlier on when you were probed, you indicated that you were not a participant in most of, or not most, in some of the decisions at the BEC, am I correct? For example, you said from 2017 to 2019, you were taken out.
Yes, 2017 to 2019, I was taken out of the position, but that was after the BC has completed its work.
That was after the BC?
Yes.
Okay, so you were, your statement at paragraph 19 remains accurate.
Yes, my statement remains accurate, thank you.
And you take, well, participating in these meetings and resolutions of the BEC entails that you also take ownership of those decisions?
Correct.
All right. We'll come back to it, especially around the missing documents. I just wanted to make sure that I understand you correctly.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Kakani, Mr. Malachi was done with paragraph 9.
Apologies?
I think he was done with paragraph 9.
Yes, yes. I think we're getting into the court order, 10, and then thereafter.
Paragraph 10.
Correct.
Paragraph
I think
10.
he had just indicated that there was a court order in all of this.
Yeah, Mr. Malachi, when I began to engage you, you were starting to read paragraph 10. So if you can just start all over and read paragraph 10.
Thank you, Commissioner. The City of Tshwane was later served with a court order which awarded tender TMPD 2 2016-2017 to 22 security service providers. I attached a copy of the court order dated the 22nd of October 2021, marked as Annexure TP3.
Thank you. Could you go to page 8 of your bundle, annexure bundle?
Do we want to go through the court order?
No. I just wanted
sorry.
to identify.
Page, sorry?
Page 8.
8. Yes.
Can I just ask one question in relation to this court order? Apologies, Chair. I just want to probe one question around this court order. My understanding of the court order would have been that there was agreement between the city and, but if, are you aware of the instructions that were given around this court order?
Yes, I am aware of the instructions by the court order. Correct.
Okay. Were you part of the BEC that instructed?
I wonder if you are not talking at cross purposes.
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Are you aware, Mr. Malachi, as to what led to the agreement which then became a court order? Are you aware of that?
No, not.
Yes.
I
thought you were talking at cross purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you were not aware of what influenced this agreement?
Yes. I was not I'm not aware of what influenced the agreement.
But were you not interested to find out how this happened?
I think my interest was, I confined my interest to the orders that the court had issued to municipality. my interest became there because it was obvious the municipality has to implement the order of the court.
Okay. Thank you. We'll come back to it in the statement. Can I take it? We'll go to the PEC report, right? What would have recommended that these 22 entities be appointed for providing security services
Correct.
after your evaluation?
Correct.
I'm asking.
Yes.
It follows.
I do.
No, I didn't get that.
Yes, I participated.
Mr. Malachi agrees.
Yes.
His response is in the affirmative.
Thank you. Then, when is it normal that obviously that the court, I just want your understanding, that it would have, the decision should have then gone, the report, the way it goes, it should have gone to the PAC, the report. Did it ever go to the PAC, just for completeness? Because I understand that it didn't. Your report.
I don't know what to say, but I take it that every BEC report, right, once it's adopted and taken to supply chain management, it is supply chain management who takes that report forward, including to present it before the BAC. So I took it that it has served before the PAC, even though I do not have evidence.
Okay, so you assume that it did go to the PAC?
I assume, yes.
Okay. Okay, please proceed with your statement at paragraph 11.
Paragraph 11, as indicated in paragraph 5 above, the properties, assets, and personnel which required protection are from all the departments, including TMPD. The said properties and personnel include clinics, cemeteries, water reservoirs, pump stations, electric substations, storage facilities, markets, regional offices, emergency services, executive mayor, mayoral committee members, and any official whose life is in danger. The list is exhaustive.
Oh, just a minute. Mr. Malachi, paragraph 11 does indicate what you are to deal with. That is the properties and what. So even though you did not read the preceding heading, just above paragraph 11, the intro, which is in paragraph 11, does explain what everything is before the next heading. But I just want to say, for context, you should always read the headings.
My apologies.
No problem, no problem. Please continue, you don't need to go back to the heading.
Thank you. All the municipal departments require security services from asset protection services. There are many departmental security services requested since March 2022. I've been unable to source the security service request from the municipality departments due to my current suspension from employment.
Thank you. Perhaps just while we are there, could you just explain to us and the commissioners perhaps what is your role from a managerial point of view in relation to the city's assets?
I'm going to refer the commissioner to page 6 of my annexed TP1. On page 6, my role as the director responsible for protection services is to ensure that protection of council premises and personnel is executed, to monitor internal guards, to monitor external guards, monitoring of cash in transit services, the provisioning of high-level VIP protection of the executive mayor, MMCs, and other dignitaries, the provisioning of a secure and integrated Metro Police Communication System service, identify, evaluate, and make recommendations on possible strategies, solutions, plans, and projects to prevent the asset loss of the city, the provision of CCTV camera operations to prevent crime and related incidents in the COT, the reduction of burglaries, in brackets, break-ins at owned and hired CTM properties, number of inspections on compliance with firearm legislation, implementation of the MIS document, ad hoc duties, and as and when required by the top management. I must inform the Commissioner that even though this is the list that constituted my primary functions, but there are some of these functions which I could not execute, or I could not execute due to various reasons, and yes, but mostly until now, I am responsible for the protection of properties of the city, assets, personnel. Some of these functions were taken away from me since 2017, as I mentioned earlier on, that I was taken out of the position for almost a period of 2 years. And when I came back, many of these functions were taken away from me, and they were never returned. They are being performed somewhere.
When you say in that period that some of the functions were taken away, did that include the protection of council properties? Was that also taken away from you?
No, the protection of council.
So you have remained consistently since your
Yes.
appointment in 2013. You've
Yes.
remained consistently responsible for that function.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on the protection of assets, of state assets, is there a system in place, or that you have in place, to ensure that all assets are protected in terms of monitoring them? Do you have a system in place around that, and in how you allocate responsibilities to your to people under yourself?
Yes, Commissioner. In terms of the system, we've got a system through which we identified how many council assets and or properties are there, that which needs to be protected. And in order to ensure that they are protected, I then made sure that I've got a team within the Asset Protection Services, which team's job is to monitor performance of both private guards and in-house security services, right? During the process of monitoring, they do inspections on those, properties and assets. They make sure that security guards are in place, security measures that are put in place on specific sites are working, and anything that goes wrong on the sites, they report back. And how they report back, they've got inspection reports that they submit. And yeah, I think that is basically the system. They also conduct security risk assessment where on as and when required basis. And this is one important tool that we use to inform and guide us when we take decision in terms of which asset is more of value than which one, and then we take those factors into account when we do the actual deployment of guards to ensure safety and security of those properties and assets of the city of Tshwane.
Thank you. And in your time, were they effectively managed?
Yes, Commissioner.
And they reported to you, your team reported to you?
They did, yes, the team reported to me.
And you oversaw the process and you were satisfied over the years?
Yes, Commissioner, I was satisfied with what the team was doing. I must also mention here that in security there is a saying that 100% security is a myth, meaning even if we could have all the sites covered, right, you would always encounter security challenges, break-ins, theft, and so forth and so on. But I must also bring it to the attention of the Commissioner that since 2013 to date, the city has not been able to protect all its assets. It has not been able to protect all its assets. Out of more than 1,000 assets of the city, up until I was suspended in July last year, we were covering almost 545 sites, which means that almost the same amount of assets, right, remained unprotected to date. And the reason, it's always financial capacity, and because with security, you know, you outsource, you need a sufficient budget, and the budget that the city has been making available, all right, has not been able to enable us cover every asset. So we had to prioritize and make sure that those that we think they are of priority are protected around the clock, using private guards. And it's about 3 years, if something of that nature, I'm not sure of the exact date, the city went on and decided to insource security officers. And yes, the number, it's not enough to enable us cover all the sites that the city needs to be covered. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the council.
Of the 500 and something odd, were they jointly serviced by the internal security and external, or just only external?
We initially, okay, I would say of the 545, right? If my memory serves me well, it is somewhere in my, 545, we are utilizing private security guards to guard them. And there is some that out of 545 that are being guarded by the what you call, by in-house. For example, I would confirm, I was just checking here, it indicates that 547, Commissioner, are guarded by private guards, and 127 are guarded by in-house. So almost the same number, 600 and something, it remains guarded to date.
Thank you. On file 2, could you turn to page 397?
Is it which page, Mrs. Kaka? 397, thank you.
Are you there, Mr. Malachi?
Yes,
This is a report, a handover report that was compiled by Ms. Marota to hand over the APSS to TMPD.
yes, sir.
Did you have any input into this report?
I would say not formal input. I would say not formal input, but why I'm saying not formal input, I was not invited by my supervisor then. By the way, in the office of the city manager, I was reporting to Mr. Navapile, right?
Mr.
Navapile.
Navapile.
Yes. So I was reporting to Mr. Navapile. So I do not remember us having a meeting in order to compile or make inputs into into the handing over of, but I would accept that this report represents what was the status.
Now, this is the unit that deals with the assets of the city, which you've accepted that you were part of at management level.
Yes.
So they did not consult you when they were moving it and compiling a report?
They did not consult me. They just told me we are going to move. A decision has been taken by the executive with effect from They gave us the date. The unit would be going back to TMPD, and that's what it, the date came, and we were called to TMPD, and yeah, that was it.
Okay. If you turn to page 400 of this report, (4.3) paragraph 2.
Okay.
I think perhaps it supports what you were saying. It indicates that work rendered by security service provider was not monitored as per service level agreement. And it then says the Tshwane Metro, I think there's a mistake, Metropolitan Police Department does not monitor the deployment of the security personnel at least twice a month as stipulated in the SLAs. What would be your comment to that? Would this report be accurate in this regard or not?
It will not be accurate. It would not be accurate because security service providers were, and I believe they are continuing to be monitored at this point in time, unless things have changed since I left office to date. But in the run-up to when I was still in office, monitoring teams are on the ground, monitoring 24/7 deployment of security service providers.
So evidence is that while it's untrue and actually you monitor the sites 24/7
Exactly, that's right.
for 545 sites.
Yes, 545 sites. When I say monitor, I want to bring it to the commissioner that in practical terms, it would always not be easy to cover every site on daily or twice daily or thrice, given the shortage of personnel that are there to conduct this specific function. But we've been doing what we could to ensure that basically the monitoring is in place, and it continued to be in place, which makes me believe that it is still in place, because I wouldn't think of any reason why we cannot have the service providers monitored around the clock, even though, yes, I agree, we wouldn't be able to, what you call, at each and every site, given the shortage of personnel.
Thank you.
Maybe before you move on, if you're moving from this, you see, that paragraph, Mr. Malachi, refers to monitoring reports. That paragraph 2, it says the review of the monitoring reports revealed that the TMPD does not monitor the deployment at least twice a month as stipulated by the SLA. So are you disputing the correctness of this because you've seen the monitoring reports for the relevant period? There are two parts to this paragraph. The one is that monitoring reports say something, and then also that the monitoring doesn't happen twice a month as agreed in the SLA. I'm just trying to understand which part do you disagree with?
Commissioner, I would not, I wouldn't with certainty say I dispute what I disagree with what the paragraph is saying, more especially when they are talking twice a month. Hence, as a result of me having said personnel capacity is always the issue. Even though the SLA stipulates that monitoring should be done twice a month, given the size of the number of the sites that we need to monitor, possibilities that yes, somewhere we were not able to reach the target.
So you're not disputing where it says that the monitoring was not happening twice a month as per the SLA agreement. You're not in a position to dispute that. In fact, your explanation is you were short of personnel, so you were not always monitoring. So that part you're not disputing.
I agree.
Okay. Do you know the monitoring reports that are referred to in this paragraph, and is it stuff that you looked at, documents that you would look at? Were they presented to you on a regular basis? Did you look at them? Would you verify for yourself what is contained in those reports?
Yes, I would assume that they are referring to what in the environment we call inspection reports.
Yes.
Right? And which inspection reports are completed on site, they are brought to the office, right? And we go in through them, we check, right? And make sure that indeed this monitoring team is doing its work.
Okay. So but just to be sure, and I just want to correct your answer to Mr. Skakane. You responded to his question that you don't agree with what is contained here, that monitoring wasn't happening. So I just want to clarify that with you, that you accept, and that seems to be in your answer, in fact, that because of capacity constraints,
Yes.
monitoring was not happening the way that the SLAs required it to be done, which is twice a month. You accept that?
I accept.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Valerie. In fact, I wanted to probe this point a bit further. And this report actually refers that this was a finding of internal audit, meaning there was an auditing of the sites, the monitoring reports, and the actual inspection reports. But at least now we've accepted that you don't dispute this
Yes.
answer. Now, could you accept that in that, well, perhaps let me start with the question. These assets, if you look at the tender, the 02 2016-2017 tender,
Yes.
the value of it is 800 million, which according to you, as the client representatives in specific, is quite a substantial amount.
Yes, I think it could even be more, even though I don't have the exact report to back up my statement. But yes, I agree. It could be, it's a substantial amount of money, I agree.
And could you accept the possibility with what you are saying and the acceptance of these findings from internal audit that perhaps there could have been a situation where invoices that were submitted by service providers could not have been verified as a possibility?
I think it could be, yes. I agree.
And how often did you reconcile or double check the invoices of the service providers on your part? Because actually you were the director.
Normally, we have got schedule for each security service provider. And every time they submit an invoice, right, my team would make sure that This invoice is in respect of all the sites that which were or that which are allocated to the specific service provider before it gets brought to my office to certify that indeed the services were rendered as per the allocation in question and so forth.
Perhaps then I understand your answer then differently to say that with each invoice that is submitted, you sign them off after having made sure that the services were rendered.
Yes, there is a standing instruction to the team that is assigned a duty to receive and administer these invoices to say before each invoice is brought to my attention to certify, right? Go through and make sure that the service provider is invoicing the city for all the sites that the service provider in question is guarding or deployed to guard.
But surely that answer or your agreement with what is stated in the report and the answer you're providing can't exist at the same time. Meaning you can't agree with an audit finding that says you failed to monitor the service level agreement or service providers, but then at the same time you say you do check the invoices and satisfy yourself that services were rendered.
There are two, in my honest view, there are two sides to the question. When I say I do not dispute what the internal audit has done, right, it's on the basis that there are 545 sites to which we should have come out twice every month. Hence, I said, sometimes it is possible not to come out there as a result of I mentioned the issue of capacity. But now, coming back to the invoices, right? The invoices, the monitoring of the invoice by the administration team is to ensure that whatever the service provider has claimed on the invoice is actually what has been allocated to that service provider, right? As to whether during the month the monitoring team managed to come out of each and every site so mentioned on the invoice, that would be another issue. And the possibility is, it could be that for the month of March, the monitoring team came out once to a specific site, but the service provider would still submit that invoice for payment. Hence, theirs is to make sure that whatever is submitted for payment is exactly as per the schedule that we have allocated to that specific service provider. Commissioner.
Thank you.
I guess what Mr. Skakane is testing with you is that it's possible, and I want to say probable, that some invoices were paid even though services were not rendered as reflected in that invoice, because you wouldn't know if monitoring doesn't happen as regularly or as agreed, then you depend entirely on the service provider to say in their invoice, we did deploy our people as per the SLA. You depend on them because you have no way of verifying that at the time that you get the invoice, because you didn't, your people didn't, due to capacity constraints, they were unable to go to that site.
I agree.
You must accept that.
I
that you
accept, Commissioner.
probably did pay some invoices when they should not have been paid.
Probably, yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. By the way, I think that takes care of quite a bit of my questions on this. Just out of interest, this report, when did you ever come across it? When did you first see it?
Human resource related matters. No, I'm coming across it for the first time here.
For the first time? Okay, thank you. Please go back to file 1, which is the continuation of your statement. Just be reminded of what the chair requested, that you read the heading first.
We are on page 4, am I correct?
Correct, paragraph 14 at the top, but start with the heading.
Yes. The heading, whether TMPD previously outsourced guarding services, entities which previously rendered guarding services out of the appointed 2022, that rendered service under TMPD 2, 2016-2017. As indicated in paragraph 1 above, TMPD has previously outsourced guarding services. The following entities were previously appointed prior to TMPD 2, 2016-2017. Number 1, Hotline Security Services. 2, Mabotwane Security Services. 3, Triotic Protection Services. 4, Marumo Maipe Cleaning. 5, Security and, actually it's Marumo Maipe Security and Cleaning Service and Civil Construction. And then it would be 5 in terms of 6, which is both best trading and projects.
Thank you. Just to spend a bit of 2 questions on this. Do you know were you involved, let's say prior to this tender, in outsourcing or in previous contracts for the provision of security services for the assets?
Prior to TMPD 2, 2016-2017,
Correct.
I was not involved.
You are not involved.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's an entity there that's 14.3,
14.3, Triotic, yes.
Triotic Protection Services.
Yes.
Do you know about that entity?
Yes, the entity is one of the entities that appointed by the city in terms of TMPD 2, 2016-2017. And it is currently rendering guarding services to the city. I think basically that's what I can say.
Thank you. And for example, at this point in time, when you were at the PEC, because it was evaluated at that time, and your recommendation as the PEC was that it, among others, should have been appointed. Am I correct?
You mean the BEC in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-2017?
Correct. The report
Yes,
that
yes,
you
yes.
did was that amongst other entities, the 22 entities, Triotic Protection Services should have been appointed. Or you were recommending it rather, let me use that term.
They were, all the bidders, including Triatic, I think they were recommended for.
They were recommended. I just want to probe a bit on that. Are you aware that that company is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdisa
Yes,
at the time?
At that time, I was not aware. I became aware after. I became aware as we went on, as we went along, that it is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdisa. You're right. So.
Thank you. Commissioners, I would have handed an article, a newspaper article, CJC 104. Could you take that? If you turn to page 2 of, this is a news article, just to be correct, this is a news article from News 24 about this tender for Triotic, and at the following page, and it's still part of ongoing controversies, is that it is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdisa.
Okay.
And it is said in the second paragraph of the second page, News 24 has established that Triotic Protection Services, in which Mdisa was the sole director and shareholder until February 2023, has got lucrative security contracts at the ANC Madibeng municipality in the northwest and Lipalale. Correct?
Yes, I heard that. I saw it on the newspaper.
Correct. So around this time, when you evaluated this tender for the TMPD, not this municipality, Mr. Mdisa would have been the sole shareholder and director of Triotic. And obviously when you evaluate, you would know those things because those are part of the documents that are submitted as to who is the director of that entity.
Since this has happened some years back, I wouldn't with certainty say the documents, more especially CIPC documents that were submitted, right, indicated whether he was the sole director or there was somebody else, right? I wouldn't with certainty say that. But what I know is that he is said to be the director of the company. But back then, I'm not sure as to what is it that the company registration document was saying in terms of directorship, whether there were other people on the directorship or not. It happened some time back.
Obviously, what do we see, obviously, with your evidence, is starting to go towards, I don't know, I didn't know, and all of this. Can I accept that then equally you wouldn't be able to dispute it with certainty?
Yes, I want to be able to dispute it with certainty.
Can I also put this proposition to you, that in terms of your own policy and the SAM regulations, companies linked to people in the service of the state ought not to be appointed?
Maybe before he answers, so that we understand, the import of this part of the discussion. Considering, and I'm looking at the same article, Mrs. Kakan, considering that Mr. Modise, at the time of the evaluation of this tender, according to this article, in fact, and its award, he wasn't a councillor. And I haven't seen a suggestion that he was an employee of the state at that time, at the time of the award of the tender. Is this a line of questions that should occupy us? I'm looking at your article. If you look at the fourth page, it says, and assuming this article is correct, it says when the Tshwane Council awarded Triotic the contract in February 22, Modise was secretary of the ANC in the Tshwane region, a position he has held since 2018. Now, unless you precede your question with putting to the witness as a fact that at the time of the award, he was a councillor, if he was, or an employee of the state, you have to precede it with that before you say employees are not, employees of the state, and not, people in the service of the state are not allowed to contract. It has to be preceded by establishing the fact that this person was in the service of the state. And if that is the suggestion, I think rather put that to him.
Let me put that as a proposition and I'll come back to it. If one assumes that, just to follow a caution from Commissioner Malachi, Mr. Modise was in the service of the state. So, in one way, would you agree that, or anyone, for example, who is a director, would you agree that he ought not to, Triotic would not have been appointed?
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Is it a fact that Mr. Modise was a councillor in 2022?
Let me come back to that properly on that.
I think that was Commissioner Baloy's difficulty.
Question. Okay.
Because we know that this tender was awarded to the 22 security companies after the court order. And at that time, the question is, was he or was he not a councillor or an employee of the municipality? Because if he was not, then as Commissioner Baloy suggests, it's questionable whether we should be entertaining this line of questioning, unless it can be put to Director Malachi that he was in fact an employee and therefore he should not have participated in the tender.
Correct. No, I'll withdraw that at this point, Commissioner, and I'll accept that. Can you then go back to your page 15, paragraph 15 of your statement?
The said entities were again appointed under TMPD 2, 2016-2017. They have rendered services since their appointment by the court on the 22nd of October 2021. They are currently rendering the same security guarding services to the municipality.
Okay, proceed.
The next heading, the nature and extent of my involvement in the bid specification in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-2017. As indicated in paragraph 6, 7, and 8 above, I was involved in the bid specification in respect of TMPD 2, 2016-2017. I assisted the department as requested by the then Deputy Chief Rex Mashaule, and I was later appointed as a member of the BEC. My role as a member of the BEC in respect of TMPD 2 2016-17, the evaluation process which led to the shortlisting of the 22 entities. Point 17, my role as the BEC member was to ensure compliance to the bid evaluation criteria as stipulated in the tender specification. It was a collective responsibility together with other appointed members. The evaluation process which led to the shortlisting of the 22 bidders was guided by the bid specification documents which were provided to the BEC by the bid specification committee. Our evaluation criteria were based on administration, compulsory documents, and technical functionality. It was a normal evaluation process guided by supply chain management policy. The report was then adopted, handed over to the chairperson of the BEC. We followed the required procedures. I believe that the court would have not awarded the tender to the recommended entities if the required procedures were not followed or complied with.
On that, Mr. Malachi, I just want to say that you and I sitting here have no idea what informed the court order which was granted or made by agreement. We do not know what those who agreed said to the court. So I'm not sure that you are in a position to pronounce on whether the required procedures were followed.
I agree with the Commissioner.
Just 1 point, for example. What is required is that there should be an adjudication or adjudicative process. You and I know that there wasn't, for example. So we don't know what informed the agreement which resulted in the court order. So I'm not sure that you are in a position to make that statement. Do you agree? Do you agree?
I agree with the Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malachi. That's perhaps the point. Maybe I may ask it differently, Chair. Can I refer you to the second document I handed, which is CJC 5? That's the supply chain regulations. Can I request that you go to clause 28(2)? Yes.
It reads as follows. A bid evaluation committee must, as far as possible, be composed of officials from departments requiring the goods or services and at least one supply chain management practitioner of the municipality or municipal entity.
And would you accept that if any of those requirements are not there, there would be some issue with that, with the composition of the BEC?
I agree.
And just to follow on the question from the chair, which is at paragraph 29, in the ordinary sense, and obviously I can't probe you more on that because of your agreement with the chair, the BEC report paragraph 29 talks about that the BEC report must be considered by the bid adjudication committee. You accept that?
I do.
And you'd accept that there would be some difficulty if the BAC is not involved.
I agree, yes.
Just outside the circumstances, well, I suppose I can't take it further because you are not involved in the decisions leading to the court order. Correct. Now, just before I go to another part, at paragraph 19 of your statement, you don't have to go there, you indicate that I was involved in all the meetings and resolutions of the BEC in respect of the same tender.
Yes.
Does that tally with you, with your knowledge of what you've stated about you not being involved in some of the decisions that were taken?
My understanding of this was meetings, resolutions of the BEC to which I was appointed. The BEC in respect of TMPD 2, 2016, 2017. So with that, I'm saying I attended the meetings and I was part of the resolutions that were taken.
Okay, that's fine. Then if you go to page 79 of file 2, page 79 of file 2. This is a report or memorandum that was sent by apparently Tembegam Faithful.
Yes, I can see.
And had you seen this report before?
No.
So
I'm seeing it for the first time, Commissioner.
You're seeing it for the first time?
Yes.
Okay. You'll see that it talks about what transpired in the evaluation of Tender 2, 2016-2017. Correct? And if you go, should I give you a moment to go through it quickly?
Okay.
Commissioner Barrow, are you having difficulty? Is it there? I'm saying, is there difficulty with pagination or?
No,
Or you have?
Not this time.
not this time.
What part of the report did you ask Mr. Malachi to read?
No, I'm just going to ask him to, I was just asking him to familiarize with the report, and then I'm going to take him to specific paragraphs.
Can't you come to this point at a later stage? Perhaps I'm looking, this is what, close to 3 pages long, which may entail Mr. Malachi having to read the whole document.
Chair, let me just take him to the relevant section.
Please.
We can, apologies. Okay, if you go to the second page,
Okay.
there's a discussion and analysis from this report.
Okay.
And it says, SCM, second paragraph, SCM assessed the process followed violations of the tender evaluation stage were noted, thus rendering the bid as non-compliant. And they highlight that there was unauthorized removal of the bid documents from SCM premises to a venue that had not been confirmed as appropriate. But just on a point, I think you differed with the chair that you found the venue that was there to be unsafe, and you shared the same sentiment as the chair of the PEC.
Yes, the BC found the supply chain management premises
Okay.
unsafe to proceed. Hence, the documents were removed.
And was there some integrity assurances about moving the documents or the bids?
And my memory serves me well. Supply chain management was I would say it was involved. I remember whilst discussing the issue, there was a gentleman, I forgot his name, but a senior guy within the supply chain management acquisition department or directorate. And this thing talked, if my memory still serves me well, he even went to an extent of seeing the venue at Primus and gave it a go ahead. That's how far I can remember. But SCM was involved, more especially the management, before the removal of the documentation.
Okay. Then at page 81, it says that there was non-compliance since there was a resignation of an SCM official from the process, from the PEC. And it goes through that. If indeed that is the case, would you then say it would have been, the PEC would have been improperly constituted in line with what we earlier read about paragraph 28(2) of the regulations?
I agree in terms of.
Okay. If you go to the recommendations, or perhaps just the last bullet point, it reads, the committee failed to execute its duties in accordance with the terms and conditions of the PEC appointment letter. Would you accept that if that had been a failure, it would mean that the PEC had some challenges?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the recommendations that say, in light of the above, it is our view that the bid was not evaluated in accordance with the prescribed SCM policies and procedures? Would you accept that then that would follow?
Yes, okay.
And then the second line says, in a concerted effort to combat the abuse of supply chain management system, SCM recommends that, now this is supply chain management.
Okay.
So they are quite aware that they were not involved, that this bid be cancelled in its entirety. And then it then states what steps should have been taken.
Okay. Can you repeat your statement, sir?
Now I'm saying SCM
Yes.
notes these recommendations, those irregularities, which you've agreed with.
Okay.
And then what they recommend as the ultimate step is that the bid be cancelled.
Okay.
And I think we went to the litigation that Commissioner Babloi was talking about cancellation of this tender. What I would then, with the benefit of hindsight, perhaps, let's forget the court process. Correct. With these irregularities, it would be quite unfortunate that 800 million or so, a tender of that nature, would have been awarded in the light of these irregularities.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you. Check, I think that's, before I move on to the other section, I don't know whether, or should I just continue?
Please continue. We
Thank
still have 9 minutes, and some of these points look quite short, depending on what else you take Mr. Malachi to.
Can I request that he continue reading with his statements? I think we've done the integrity, but I think for the record, it's important that he puts it on from paragraph 20
Of my statement.
of your statement. Apologies.
Okay, thank you.
So just read the heading first, or did you do so already?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
The integrity of the bids received handed over to the BEC, whether the bids provided to the BEC were sealed, whether the BEC addressed the unsealed. The integrity of the received bid was not compromised in that the bid received all the bids which tallied with the compiled list. Hence, we proceeded with our functions. The bids are normally received sealed by supply chain management administrative officials. They get unsealed by supply chain administration to inter alia to compile a bid register and general administrative compliance before they are handed over to the BEC. As a result, the bids handed to the BEC were not sealed.
So, sorry. When you say the bids are normally received sealed by the SCM administration officials, at what stage do they get sealed? I'm asking because the bidders would submit them, and are they? I assume they are not sealed at that stage, or are they sealed at that stage?
No. I'm referring to. I'm referring to the fact that some of the bids would be sealed, and they would seal differently.
You are not saying some. You say the bids are normally received sealed by the SCM administration officials.
Yes.
At which point or at what stage would they have been sealed?
I think at the point when they are submitted, when the bid closes, when they submit them.
Each bidder submits a sealed
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
bid.
Okay.
Oh, and when you say normally, that seems to admit of exceptions. What do you mean normally?
Normally, I mean to say, under normal circumstances, ideally.
Exactly my point. You can't answer me by using the same term that I'm questioning. So what do you mean normally?
Normally mean it's an acceptable norm, right? Bids are submitted sealed, but
They may sometimes be submitted unsealed.
yes, it's true. I agree.
All right, thank you. I think you were to start with the next heading, circumstances.
Circumstances around the missing bids and or documents and removal of the bids from supply chain management premises, which were noted by BEC, and the impact of all of this on the procurement process. I am not aware of any missing bids documents regarding the removal of the bids from supply chain management premises. The BEC took bids from supply chain management premises to Tshwane Leadership Academy, Bremos. Movement of the bids was necessitated by security issues observed by the BEC. For instance, movement of SCM officials in and out of the storage was not controlled. Cameras in the building were not working, and the supply chain management officials had unlimited access to the storage facility. I'm referring to the BEC, made a request to move from the supply chain management building, which was approved by the chairperson of the BEC, and the removal of this bid did not have any negative impact on the work of the BEC. Whether I delegated...
Apologies, Mr. Malachi. I just have a few questions on this subject. Now, in terms of did you share the sentiments of the chair around the premises being unsecure?
You mean the chairperson of the
Yes.
BEC? Yes, the chairperson of the BEC. Actually, he is the one, right, who was saying, since there are these security issues that I am also observing, right? It would be in the interest of doing quality work by considering to move. But now, he then took it up with supply chain management officials, right, to entertain the issue of where the BEC could be moved and so forth and so on. Hence, at the end of the day, decision was taken to move the function to Primos, and it was moved there, and from there we went on with our work.
Thank you. And did the chairperson have the authority to do that?
I am not sure. I'm not sure, Commissioner.
I say this because in the report that we went through earlier on in file 2, it is the very flag that SCM raised, that the documents or the bids were moved without authorization and communication from the head of SCM.
Hence, I'm saying I am not sure if he had the what you call the authority to do that, but what I'm aware of, right, he interacted with one senior official within the supply chain management before the actual movement was effected.
Okay. No, that's fine. I think I can't take it further than that. If maybe just on before we part, we break for lunch, if the BEC had no authority, as the report suggests, right, and let's forget the court order, to remove the bids, do you accept the following possibilities that the integrity of the bids could have been compromised?
I accept.
Thank you. I think, Chair, then the next paragraph we deal with the powers, the ad hoc powers to Mr. Phiri, which is a new topic, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Or is the next one not the one that says whether I delegated powers?
Correct.
Sorry. All right. Just above paragraph 24.